Can you please welcome our first guest? She is a poet and she is a reporter. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Miriam Dragina. I am from most peaceful country in Europe. I am from Ukraine. I'm a screenwriter. No, not like this. I was from most peaceful country from Ukraine. I was a screenwriter. Now I'm a civil journalist. I became to be a journalist when Russia began to annex Crimea, part of Ukraine, peninsula in Ukraine. I began to be a journalist when our president decided to beat students, children on the Independence Square on Maidan, its main street in Ukraine, in the capital, in Kyiv. I began to be a patriot of Ukraine when I saw hundreds died people on the street. It was on February 2014. I have a small daughter, 8 years old. I have a job that I love. But I decided to tell people the truth. I didn't understand what happens. I didn't believe that people in Ukraine want to be a part of Russia or something else. I bought a ticket for the train and went to Crimea. And I saw by myself Russian soldiers there, Russian activists with the flags. I saw citizens of Crimea who hadn't any possibility to show their position. I speak Russian from my childhood. I was born in Kyiv. My parents either. I had never problems with my language. I'm Jewish, and I have never problems with my nationality. And when Maidan began, I met a lot of people, different nationalities. In Ukraine, we have more than 30. And we hadn't this problem inside, ethnic problem. It's not ethnic problem. And first person who was killed on Maidan was Sergei Nigayan. He's Armenian, Ukrainian Armenian. He was my friend. I met him on Maidan. He was 20 years old, and he hadn't any arm in his hand. And in Crimea, I saw that all that situation in Kyiv, in Ukraine, was managed by Russia. I'm sure now that it was like this. It wasn't only a stupid thing that did our ex-president. It was managed by someone who was really influential in our side. And I saw that Russian soldiers, I saw that people who show me their flags and said me that I have to be a part of big empire, that I'm not Ukrainian, that Ukraine is nothing, that it's not a real country, that we haven't a real language. Even you, they said me, you speak Russian. And it's true, I speak Russian, but I am Ukrainian. And I began to make streams. I began to show information because all our media, most of them, not all, are corrupted, are paid by our oligarchs, are paid by our government. And we have just few independent media. For example, Громадське TV, we have a journalist from Громадське TV here, and Ukrainian Pravda is an independent site. And I tried to write reports to Ukrainian Pravda, and I tried to make streams to Громадське TV to show people what happens. I didn't cut my video, I just showed a real situation. I just showed Russian soldiers, showed tanks, show guns in their hands, show their aggressive position. And for them it doesn't matter who am I a woman or not, am I big or small. They just beat me, they just tried to take my photo, my camera, they just made their job, because someone paid to them. It's not an ideological position, it's something, it's a job, and I'm sure about it. And now, today, during this day, I know about 6 people who was died, only during one day. 4 of them from Odessa. It's the most peaceful city in Ukraine. It is on the seaside. It is not on the east. It's not on Crimea. It's south of Ukraine. And we have a bit with my friends to go to Odessa for a weekend, to spend time there. And it's really Ukrainian city. It's Jewish city, Ukrainian city, with the beautiful houses, old houses, with the friendly people, with the nice sea, and with the feeling that you have a holiday every day, every time. But today, it was first blood in Odessa. They begin to do what they did on Maidan. And they want to annex not only east and south. I think they want to come to capital, to Kiev. I think that it's a big empire. Russia is a big empire that want to be maybe it's ambitions of Putin, I don't know, to be the most influential country in the world. And for them, it doesn't matter who we are. They don't ask us. And for them, they will never stop, I think. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have this possibility to tell my story to you. Because I think you are free people. You don't understand as I was before. You are free and you can't imagine what war is. But when I stayed on Maidan and I saw hundreds of people just died and lying on the street, I understood that it's possible. And we have to be always, we have to know that it could be always with me, with us. And we have to do something, we have to be active, we have to show information, we have to tell people truth. And from you, I can wait something from you, you exactly, but I'm waiting from Europe these sanctions. I'm waiting help with the right information. I'm waiting that you begin to ask questions and to show a real picture. That you will come to Ukraine, to Kiev, and you'll see what happens really. It's a real war between big Russia and small Ukraine. We haven't any practice, we haven't experience of the war. We have just 22 years old country, and we don't want to have this war in our country. We don't want to buy bulletproof, I have already. We don't want to buy guns. We just want to live, to love, to work, and to stay most peaceful country in the world. Thank you.
I would say thank you very much. You are a poet, but you also talk like a fighter.
I began to be a fighter last time.
Yeah. What do you tell your 8-year-old daughter about your work?
I didn't took her to Maidan until the end of February. And then, after all these people who was died, I took her to show her thousands of flowers in Independence Square. I want her to remember this Maidan with flowers, because she has to know her history. I think that war not for children, fight not for children, but I try to explain to her that she's Ukrainian. She's a Jewish Ukrainian girl, and she has to love her country. And she have to remember what happens, yeah. How it's difficult to be independent, and how it's difficult to have this freedom.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the way that the traditional media in Ukraine work?
They work as the usual media, but they try to... It's difficult to explain. Now the picture is changed a little bit because we don't have anymore these Russian channels. It's not allowed now. But before we had it, and by the Russian channels, Russian propaganda came to us. And that's why people in Crimea or in East felt that they are part of Russia, that they have this nostalgia of Soviet Union, They didn't feel that they are Ukrainians because we hadn't our Ukrainian propaganda. We just teach something in school, history, geography, Ukrainian language, but not these lies, what we saw in Russian channels. Nobody said us that you are slavers, you have to love Russia, love Putin. No, it's not like this, but it's what they want to say finally. And now we don't have it, but we have a lot of big media. We have, for example, 112 channel is the name of the channel, who paid by pro-Russian oligarchs, and it's still to work. We have a newspaper, Vesti. It's a pro-Russian newspaper, and they continue to work in Kiev even. And someone read it, and it's for free. You can go to metro and to take this newspaper. So they continue their propaganda, and
okay.
that is, yeah.
And how big is the influence of the so-called new media that you are part of?
Yeah, that's why people don't believe anymore to traditional media. They try to find information other way. So they prefer to read Facebook, Twitter, to see streams, to connect people from the East, just to call their grandma and ask, "Hey, grandma, do you see tanks on your street?" Such things, yes. And a lot of Ukrainians begin to be civil journalists, citizen journalists, because of it. They try to show a real picture.
And what is the amount of that sort of reporting? Is it something that's going to, let's say, 10% of the people, only to young people? Is it also going to older people? What can you say about the amount of reporting in this new way?
No, it's not only young people. I think all active Ukrainians, doesn't matter the age, try to tell the truth. And why I like, for example, Громадське TV or Ukrainian Pravda, they took the streams, they took Twitters, and they try to put news from civil journalists to their traditional media, and they make it objective. Yeah, different ages.
And what do you think will be the future developments when it comes to the old and the new media in Ukraine?
We will have more objective information. It's difficult to... I don't know.
I don't know. No. What do you plan to do personally?
I'll continue to be a journalist until the end of the conflict. And then I went back to the cinema and to make my scripts.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.